Greetings. My name is Dr. Waddell Brooks, Sr., your host, and this is Community Focus. We're very fortunate to have on the line with us Amber Taylor. She's a junior at the University of Missouri, Columbia. Good morning, Amber.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for spending time from your busy schedule to be with us on Community Focus to talk all about your illustrious career in communications. I am excited about it because I got into communication after I retired. The opportunity presented itself, and you know what they say, if an opportunity presents itself, it may not come again. And
that's true.
Now, I did not have the training. I graduated from Illinois State University in business education and with a minor in physical education. But communication was offered to me after I retired, and so that's been 24 years ago. And I'm still in the same studio with the mic 24 years later. And it has been a very rewarding experience, and we're very anxious to hear about your experience so far and what direction that you plan to go. First of all, tell our listening audience a little bit about Amber, about your personal background, and that may include your early childhood education, life experiences, travel experiences, living in Chicago, and Country Club Hills. That sounds like a whole show within itself, right? Okay.
Okay, well, as you said, my name's Amber.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up on the south side of Chicago on 72nd in Indiana.
Okay.
So I lived there for the first 13 years of my life. And I like the south side of Chicago. I really like the city. I think I like the city more than the suburbs. I guess because growing up there, I was used to the fast-paced life and all the noise. I remember when I first moved to the suburbs, I was so surprised at how quiet everything was. Right. I remember when I moved to the suburbs, my sister and I started taking the bus to go to school, and my grandmother told us to be careful crossing the street, and I told her, it's so quiet. Only 2 cars came down the street a day, and one was my mother's and one was my father's, so we'd be just fine.
Right.
But, yeah, I grew up there. I've also attended church my whole life. My grandfather is actually the pastor of my church. I go to Christ Temple Missionary Baptist Church, and that's located at 41 West 95th Street in Chicago. So I've been there my whole life. I've been singing since I was about 3 years old, I want to say, singing in the church choir, singing in my high school choir, I sing in my college choir now. Anytime a friend needs me to sing, I sing with them. Let's see, what else can I tell you? I attended high school at Thornwood. It's in South Holland, Illinois. Mm-hmm. Before I moved to the suburbs, I was actually going to go to Reed Young, but we ended up moving to the suburbs and taking trains and whatnot would have just been too much. So I went to Thornwood, but I enjoyed my time at Thornwood. I liked there. Let's see, I'm trying to think of things.
Well, how about your academic career? Did you felt that you got a college prep background?
I say yes and no in a way. I think I did because I did take some honors classes and AP classes in high school to try to prepare me, but it still was a very big difference between college and high school and things of that nature, because even like in high school, things are so much easier, you know, like with teachers and things of that nature. And then once you get to college, you really have to accept that own responsibility because, you know, you're definitely on your own. There's nobody checking up on you. You know, you just have to be the mature adult and do what you have to do, honestly.
Right. Well, you know, tell us then, what piqued your interest in the communication field?
Honestly, it was my grandfather. When I was in high school, I was unsure as to what I really wanted to do, and my grandfather always told me that he figured I would make a good journalist. My sophomore year of high school, I took a journalism course, and I honestly fell in love with it right then. In the class, we did a lot of writings, like feature writing, hard news stories, soft news story, things of that nature. And that really started my interest towards it. And then my senior year of high school, I took a radio and TV class. And that's when I really, really knew what I wanted to do then. I knew I wanted to go to like TV and radio and things of that nature. Because in that class, we did like a duo DJ radio show. We did a late night TV show. We did a news segment. We made commercials. That class was really fun. I got a lot of experience in that class.
It sounds like you got a great background for it. You're journalism and also radio and TV, because that it ties in together, right?
Yes, it does, actually.
Right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, again, we're talking with Amber Taylor. She's a junior at the University of Missouri in Columbia. Tell us, Amber, how did you choose the University of Missouri to further your education?
Well, when I was applying to colleges, I was talking to my English teacher my senior year of high school, and the University of Missouri, they had started sending me mail, but at first I was kind of ignoring it because I'm from Chicago, so I was just thinking to myself, I don't want to go to school in Missouri. So I was thinking, like, what's in Missouri for me? And I was talking to my teacher, and she was like, well, you have to go to the University of Missouri. And I was asking her why, and then she told me that they were number one for journalism in the country. So after that, I told myself, oh, okay, I do have to go there. So I opened up the mail and started applying, things of that nature, and I was accepted, and they offered scholarships and whatnot. So, after getting money for college, you can't really turn that down.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and then I visited February before I started that following semester, and I honestly fell in love with the campus. After setting up on the campus and getting the tour, things of that nature, I knew I wanted to go there. So my dad told me, if that's your dream, we're going to pursue it, and let me go. So.
Now, what about the adjustment? Was it difficult to adjust from high school to college? Now, here, like you say, in college, you own your own, and there's no one to tell you when to get up and when to go to bed and how to prepare for your courses and so forth. But tell us, from the high school youngsters that may be listening, about the adjustment that you made from high school to college.
Okay, I will say for adjusting, there's much more work, a lot more responsibility, things of that nature. But I won't say it's too hard. I will say it's a challenge. You're definitely going to be challenged. You're going to have to assume the role of responsibility and understand that you're on your own and you need to be an adult now about certain things, and that all of the decisions that you make are your own personal decisions, and they can affect you positively or negatively. So I will say that. But I don't think my adjustment was too hard. I will also say that you should join organizations and things of that nature too. Don't just go to school. You need to have fun and learn to enjoy it. Because I know if you just do school, I don't think you'll get the full college experience. Because like I was saying, down there, I'm in my college choir, so I enjoy singing with them. I'm also a part of this group called the National Association of Black Journalists, so that's a really good time as well. Another group called Elite, and that's women empowerment. So we help out with young girls, self-esteem and things of that nature. We do a lot of volunteering. And I also have 2 jobs with the residential life department of my school. So,
well, that's great. I think I did the same thing. I didn't work because I had to, but I think it was part of really college life, really. To get acquainted with more people, and because there's a great percentage of college freshmen that you don't see them around for the sophomore year, the one who partied a lot, and
that's true.
And so I guess the second year you find a few more that you won't see again, and so forth. But it sounds like you had the right attitude and the right preparation. As a matter of fact, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the importance of family in your life.
Family has always been very important. I know since my grandfather is the pastor of my church is pretty much mostly family on my dad's side. On my mom's side, some of my family goes there as well, but my dad's father is the pastor of the church. So basically, my immediate side of my dad's family, we all go to the church, and we all been raised up together, that kind of thing. I know growing up, especially when I lived in the city, we went to my grandparents' house at least twice a week, and my cousins were always over there, things of that nature. So it's kind of like, well, they're my cousins, but they're kind of like big brothers and big sisters, that kind of thing. And on my mom's side, she lived out in the suburbs when when we were younger. So we would go out there to the suburbs about once a week and try to see their side of the family, and all of my cousins would come over on their side too. So I grew up with family my whole life, and they always played a very big role. They're very supportive, so if there's anything I wanted to do, they made sure I was able to do it. Like if I really had the desire for it, it was never a no or things of that nature. It was just, well, let's look into it. What do you have to do for it? I played volleyball some in grammar school that came to my games. Whenever I had an award or anything, my mom was always at my award ceremony. My dad had to work, but my mom came to every single one. Even when I got older, I told her, Mom, you don't have to come anymore. It's okay. But no, she made sure she came to everything. Parent-teacher conferences, whatever it was, they were always there.
That's that make a big difference also in your adjustment. This is fantastic. Well, now tell us about the University of Missouri, the adjustment that you made there. Tell us about what is there to really attract other students to come.
Well, first of all, the campus in itself is really gorgeous. It's a beautiful school, honestly. And
the population about what?
The population of the school is about 32,000.
Wow.
32,000, yeah. And then the black population is between 6,000 and 7,000, I believe.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's a PWI. It's a predominantly white institution, but they do they have a lot of great resources for students, things of that nature. A lot of different majors. They actually they don't just have the number one journalism school. They also have the number one nursing school as well. Their communication school, I believe, is ranked number 15. So they have a lot of good things. I know their business school produces a lot of Fortune 500 CEOs and things of that nature.
Now, what about your senior year? You're a junior now, right?
Yes, I'm a junior.
Okay, so you're taking courses in your major field. Do you now, or do you wait till your senior year?
Oh no, you start junior year.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, I was wondering whether I noticed a little ways to look forward to it, but internships. Is internships part of the requirements for completion to graduate?
It is. I believe you start doing the internships for your degree the summer after junior year. So I think this summer is when I start internships for my degree. But I mean, you're welcome to do them before, but I think junior year is when they start counting towards your degree.
It's very important, too, because normally if you do well in internships, there's a great possibility that it could lead for employment.
That's true. I know some of the people that I go to school now or people that have graduated were telling me, like, a lot of their internships have offered them full-time jobs after they graduated, and, they're happy to have them. Right.
This is fantastic. I know at the radio station that I'm at now, interns come here in and out all the time, and a few of them are employed by the station too.
Mm-hmm.
They're very. That's from the from Chicago. That this is fantastic. We're very happy that you have made a great adjustment, and congratulate the people that were responsible for you going to the University of Missouri. I know you were hesitant in the beginning, but now you have found out that that's one of the best things could have happened to you, right?
Oh, yes, it is. I love, well, we call it Mizzou for short. I love Mizzou so much. I know my auntie always talks about me because I buy so much Mizzou paraphernalia at school, like, T-shirts and clothes and things of that nature. I know every time I come home, she always asks, like, do you have any other clothes? Do you only wear Mizzou things? I really like Mizzou. I really enjoy it.
That's it. Now, if you were counseling youngsters in high school, what courses would you recommend that they emphasize on, that you say that are required to predict success in the communication field?
Well, I would definitely tell them to, if they have the opportunity at their schools, they need to look into journalism courses, maybe even English courses to help strengthen their writing. I know English writing and journalism writing is a little different, but I feel as if writing is still writing on the same level in a certain sense. So some English classes would definitely be good. Anything that has to do with like radio and TV, maybe if their high school has like a radio station, something of that nature, they have a school newspaper. I did a little bit of school newspaper when I was back in high school, so that would work out well for them. Let's see. If their school, I know certain high schools have like TV stations for the high school. If their high school has that, I would definitely look into that. Anything that would. I know my high school, our speech department did a lot with the daily announcements, things of that nature. Something like that could work out well. Anything that would help with like public speaking. Yeah. I know it was required for us to take.
Right. Speaking of speech, that people in the field say that you have a radio voice. What do they mean by a radio voice?
I think a radio voice is just something that you would have to attract to listeners.
Okay.
I know it's harder to attract attention when you're just talking versus like saying things. I know sometimes myself, if I'm listening to the radio and a commercial comes on or it goes back to the studio, if they're not interested in me, I change the radio very quickly. Like, let me find some more music because this isn't going to work. So I definitely think you have to be more engaged. You have to, I guess, over-enunciate in a way to kind of keep the listeners listening, talk about, interesting things, make sure you sound interested. I know that's one thing for sure. If you don't sound interested in what you're talking about, nobody else is going to like it either.
Exactly. This is fantastic. As I mentioned before, it wasn't until I retired, and that was 24 years ago, when the opportunity was offered to me. They had a slot in here for public assets, and it's something that I just wanted to do. I had no training, but I wanted to do. So I took advantage of it, and like I said, that's been 24 years later. It's been a weekly show, and I'm still here at the station in the same the same office here, the same studio, the same microphone, this type of thing. Now, 3 years later, I was given the opportunity to host a public access television program on Comcast. And so what happened is that it's very important that you be prepared because they say opportunity only knocks once.
That's true.
So now that opportunity is not available now. It was available then, and I took advantage of. Same in your case too. You never know. And I used to tell my students, just learn the best you can. This was the kindergarten students. So we learn the best you can. And that meant a lot. You learn the best you can. You never know what opportunity may open itself to you. By the way, what is your ultimate goal when you complete your college education?
Well, after I finished
journalism or broadcasting?
Well, yeah. My degree is actually in broadcast journalism. So after I graduate, I hope to be, a TV anchor for a news station. So maybe something like ABC or WGN, Fox News, something of that nature.
Uh-huh. But if to do that, you probably need a internship, I guess, to get the feet on the ground to get there.
Right.
Yeah, right. Now, the first 2 years, the courses that you're taking are probably just academics.
Mostly there are a lot of gen eds, but you do take some prereq journalism classes your first 2 years as well. I know the first class I took was just the basic fundamentals of journalism, so you learn different terms, things of that nature. After that, I took a career explorations class in journalism. Following that one, you take a cross-cultural journalism class, so you learn how to work against like different cultures, different races, different ethnicities, things like that, and how to report for those races and things of that nature. Following that class, I took a class that dealt with multimedia. So in that class, we did a lot of stuff. We learned how to do interviews. We learned how to make slideshows. We learned how to make videos. So we made like news videos, like voiceovers, things of that nature. What else did we do? We actually had to pick our own stories. So we had to go out and find interesting things to report about and things of that nature. I know one of my stories I did on at the time at my school, with the off-campus living, a new apartment complex was being built, and they had run into some kind of issue where I think about 2 weeks before the students were supposed to move in, a number of the apartments weren't finished, so they had to call students and tell them that they basically had nowhere to live when the time was coming for them to move in, and they were going to place them in other apartment complexes, but they were still going to have to pay the rent that they had to pay for that apartment complex, and a lot of, like, some students, I believe, had to even live in hotels, and, they thought that was really unfair. They had paid their money and signed their leases and whatnot, so I followed the story of one of the boys who had to go through that experience, and so we basically talked about how he had to live in this other apartment, and compared to his apartment, I believe, has 3 floors to what he was supposed to live in, but he was living in a 1-floor apartment paying the same rent he was supposed to pay there. So he was paying way more money for a place he wasn't supposed to be in and things of that nature. And so that was a really interesting story to talk about. And what else do we have? We just had to do a lot of stuff. Oh, we had to take pictures. And then at Mizzou, we use a lot of professional equipment. So sometimes the same equipment that like actual people in the field are using. So we're using $2,500 cameras and things of that nature. So we get a lot of experience.
Now, in the communication field, when you graduate, you may not be able to get the exact employment that you want to, but there's other opportunities within the communication field. It's a wide open field, We talked about journalism, and we talked about the radio and TV, but there's other related jobs that people can get too in the communication field, Major, right?
Yes, I know I know in journalism specifically, there are a lot of different fields in general. So I know, like, if you don't do broadcast, you can do regular writing. There's also Stratcom. Stratcom deals with, like, the ads behind companies. So you might could do ads for Nike or ads for, big-time restaurants, things of that nature. There's also, I'm trying to think of all the different fields I could think of right now. Oh, there's also one called, give me 1 second. Oh, it's called convergence journalism. So convergence kind of works like among all the fields and put them together as one. So you can learn a little bit about broadcast, a little bit about writing, a little bit about Stratcom. You can also do photography. I know you can be a communication rep for different organizations, things like that. Like one of my friends, she's in the communication field, and she wants to be a communication rep for a not-for-profit organization. So there are a lot of different places you can work at.
This is fantastic. I've been asking you questions here, but I haven't mentioned about in Lake County, Illinois here, it's approximately 750,000 people here.
Okay.
Yeah, and minority population is very, very low, maybe 10%,
Okay.
But now I don't know how many people up at 5 o'clock this Sunday morning listen to the program. We tape at 11 o'clock every Monday, but the show is aired on 5 a.m. every Sunday morning, But I understand there's quite a population. And I think there's studies made, I don't know from this station or not, about the percentage of people that are that listen to, the radio program. There's a way to check it to find out, But now, have you thought about pursuing a master's degree?
I actually have, because with the journalism school at Mizzou, they actually have a 5-year program, so I would only have to stay in school for 1 more year to get my master's. But I'm going to see. I haven't made a final decision yet because I was talking to some teachers. They were telling me they're not really sure if I would necessarily need a master's. So I guess it kind of depends on what job I'm offered after graduation, or if I decide to take another internship, because they also recommend coming back. They do recommend take some time off, getting out there in the field and coming back to get the master's. It only takes 1 more year, so I'll decide sometime soon. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I have thought about it.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, again, we're talking with Amber Taylor. She's a junior at the University of Missouri, Columbia, Missouri. But tell us about where is, in the state, where is Columbia, Missouri?
Okay. Columbia is 2 hours from St. Louis.
Okay.
So I know from me, St. Louis is about 4 hours away. So it's 6 hours away.
Wow. It's going south,
yes.
St. Louis, right? Going towards Kansas, is that right?
Right, yes.
Yeah. With a population of 32,000, that's a pretty... Now, is it very expensive? I know you're on a scholarship, but the scholarship probably don't take care of all the expenses, but...
No, it is not.
But if someone think about tuition, what are they thinking about?
Well, at Mizzou, tuition is about $34,000 now. Thankfully, they do offer a diversity award to minority students.
Okay.
So that the diversity award is about another it covers about $15,000 per year. And then I was also offered another award that allows you to pay in-state tuition. So in-state is about half of that.
Okay.
Between like $17,000 to $19,000 or so.
Okay.
So yeah, I pay in-state, and then I have to take out some loans too, unfortunately. But whatever gets the job done, I just want to graduate.
Exactly. I have a granddaughter, my son's daughter, at the Howard University in Washington, D.C., and she got a $90,000 scholarship, but $90,000 over the 4 years, Okay. But I assist him in what her share there, and it's still quite a bit. We have to you have to share, even though she got the $90,000. So education is very important, but yet and still it's cheaper the dollars to go into education than it is for prisons.
Oh, okay.
It's about $40,000 a year per inmate in the state of Illinois, and the federal prisons about $90,000 to $100,000 a year per inmate. So it is the dollars are cheaper from the state if they invest in education than it is in prisons. But tell us about your peer group now. Were you influenced by your peer group? Say, let's start from high school. It sounded like you were pretty busy, though. You didn't have time to,
oh, no.
Except for church group,
No, I do still have time. I try to stay busy, but I do try to make time for a social life, too, because I don't feel like you can do just work. You need to have fun, things of that nature as well.
Okay.
But in high school, I did have a lot of friends, things of that nature. People always told me I was popular. I don't know if I necessarily agree with popular, but I think I was a friendly person. But yeah, I had a pretty good friend group, I would say. My friends, we were all very supportive of each other. Anytime one of us were doing something, we tried to attend the other person's events. Like if my friends had a speech tournament or something like that, or if my friends were singing somewhere, or if they were playing, one of my best friends played basketball, so I tried to go to her games, things of that nature. We all supported each other. We all helped each other with like school and homework, things of that nature. Yeah, we all had a pretty good time, and then I know in high school, once you start taking like AP or honors classes, you pretty much have a class with the same people. So I got close to a lot of the same people, things of that nature, and then I did take some regular courses too. So I had friends from different facets of high school.
Amber Taylor, I want to thank you very much for taking time from your busy schedule to be with your cousin here on Community Focus. And I just want to highlight you because you are a person that Lake County and Cook County now, Cook County should know. And
thank you.
Wish you a lot of success at University of Missouri, Columbia. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Community Focus. My name is Dr. Waddell Brooks Sr., your host. Oh, by the way, Amber, I want to mention that Clara Evans, I want to congratulate her for playing such an instrumental part in your career also.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
You did.
Okay.